fundamentals. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we are going to be working with quantum physics, and we will be discussing the branches of physics in all of the branches of physics, and then we'll probably touch on other branches other than quantum physics. Quantum physics is one universe or branch that is within the math of physics. And most scientists will work with physics, math at some point in their career. The specialties that sciences are broken down into are represented in the branches or universities of physics. To get used to working with physics, we are going to work with ratios or proportions. Think of ratios or proportions as a way to represent different components. While showing the entire or whole of the source. Ratios are expressed using what we call colons. Two dots on top of one another. And this represents the word to, or a symbol to compare. So we have an example. Now this example also shows the fraction, which would still be a portion or a ratio. And this ratio, we are learning that there are 3 girls for every 1 boy. So how do we go from 3 girls to 12 girls? So how it is expressed is girls to boys is equal to 3 to 1 is equal to, and so how do we go to 12? We multiply 4, and your new number should be the first number. 4 times 3 girls is equal to 12 girls. And then whatever we do to one component, which was the girls, we'll have to do to the same to the other component. So the other component are boys. And we are going to, again, multiply 4 times 1, because the component is 1 boy, we get 4. So, girls now are 12 and boys are now 4, which is still expressed either way, 12 to 4, girls to boys, and 3 to 1, girls to boys. So this is the basis of physics. So as you can imagine, we are only using 2 components, girls and boys. But what if we broke it up and we could become even more specific and we wanted to know how many brown-eyed girls to blue-eyed girls to girls with red hair, and then we would go to boys that were over 5 feet and boys that were under 6 feet. So we could get very fancy with it and it would be more components. But we would then begin to plug all of these things in. So this is kind of how physics looks practically in mathematical expressions and forms. I know that we speak of Newton and his laws and what does that really mean, of the world around it. And so we know that total of everyone, that would be the world, that would be the whole. So the whole would be 4 when we began, because it was 3 to 1, it was 4 people. And then we also know the components. And so there we have the ratios. And this is physics. So if we move one side, then we'd have to move the other side the same way, so that everything plugs in together. So nothing stays off balance. It's still balanced. So we have to offset on each side. So this is the actual, I want people to be able to see the practicalness of physics. And get very comfortable with doing ratios and proportions, because this is going to allow you to think physics mathematically, how to complete physics. And this video just allows us time to kind of go through different components or arrays to understand ratios. So what is a ratio to red squares to green diamonds? And so you once again get used to expressing these ratios in either a fraction form or again the ratio form, which represents the semicolons. Excuse me, the colons. The 2 dots. So there's worksheets that we have and that we want to allow you to work on in class time. And so we'll be given 10 minutes each class to do some lessons and get comfortable with it. And these particular questions will be on the examination, so we'll pull from these kind of questions so you guys can get very comfortable with it and know what we're going to be doing when it's time to test.